Good evening. Tonight, so you get me with Wellness Wednesday, and it's been it's quiet this evening. Hopefully our internet holds out even though it's pouring buckets of rain outside. I had a couple things to tend to, so that's why we're a few minutes late. We had a grandbaby that threw up, so we had to do some laundry and get some turkey feet for the dog at home because she needs turkey feet. She starts eating her own poop. And one of the reasons of many apparently that dogs do that is they need something to chew on and they're looking for some kind of nutrition. So when she eats chicken feet or turkey feet, she's happy. And she does do lovely things like eating her own poop. So take care of that. You can feed the dog and brave the ice. I don't know about you, Jonathan, if it's raining over there, but we're having rain, the top of the snow, and then it's supposed to be cold again tomorrow. So we're planning to go ice skating on the road up front. If anyone wants to come, that's how it's going to be tomorrow. But that's okay. It's February, looking in the Farmer's Almanac, and it was supposed to be flip-flop February, back and forth, and it has sure been that. So it's how it is. In the kitchen medicine class, we've been talking about we talked about what we talked about. Oh, about the three doshas or energies, constitutions. And the one that we're in right now it's called kapha, and its elements are earth and right now we're in a very earth and water time, but everything's frozen still. One of the qualities of this time, this energy, is very connective. If you know people that are they thrive on connection. Mark is one. Loves to talk to people. In case you haven't noticed, he thrives on it. He does really well. So the last couple of weeks, I had the opportunity to go visit with people, and it changes everything. It changes complete outlook on life. That's what this time is. So I forget how I started off here now, but talking about winter, I guess, because that was my train of thought then, was things to do to help right now, because we're in a little bit of a transition season as we start to think about spring. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's light longer. So earlier in the morning, later in the evening, the little bird singing makes me so happy in the morning. Spring's coming. We're in that time, that late fall. So connection is a great thing right now. It's a great way to handle the trials of the time. Connecting with some veteran farmers last weekend as we got a puppy. Yay. And did it with somebody else on Sunday. And family this week. It's huge. If connecting with people, with nature, for walks outside if it's cold, walking with what's real, even if it's for connection. like we're back here. We're back in motion. About that, I swapped up connections, and so we'll see if it keeps going a little bit better. Um, Let me know if the sound is weird. Connecting, yeah. Now that it's easy to connect and get out and move and do things, uh, as we know from our internet connections. But 'tis the season to get out of your shell, start moving, start connecting with people, with stuff. Um, Talking about, well, another place to start connecting is inside yourself. Right now, I don't know, we have a stomach bug of some sort going through, and I haven't been able to put my finger on it. But with your digestion right now will also be really helpful to you. I my money that right now, if you could eat once or twice a day, you'd be really happy. If you wait until you get a real true good hunger to eat, you'll find that you are going to system, you're going to let it clean it. You know, it's like everything's frozen outside or moving very sluggishly. The same. So a little space, a little air to ignite a strong digestive fire, because that's what you need right now. It's going to be sluggish and heaven, because that's what this kapha, this earth and water energy does. It's a little slower. It's a little more sluggish, just like earth and water. They don't move as fast as air and light do, elements. So air in there will help get movement going and counteract and balance the weight of water elements that are really strong right now. Yeah, intermittent is fabulous. I'm working on just eating really long. I had some mental things around. I don't know why fasting, but the balance to that then is just eat super light and don't snack between meals. Drink a lot of warm water because it's warm, unlike the season outside. So you're providing some balance, and it's water. It moves. It's moisture. You need a lot of that too. So getting really connected to your hunger, and then sit and pause. Really connect with your food when you do sit to eat. Connect with it. Make it look nice. Uh, Keith had a white elephant thing. Got this old, I don't even know if it's a cookbook, but it's like how to be a hostess, how to be a good wife. You know those books they used to put out in the 50s and 60s? And my grandma had given it to my mother and stood on in this white elephant. But one of the things that they said was, you know, every meal, set the table, use your silverware, light a candle, make sure the space is clear, make sure the ambiance is nice. You're connected. You do that instead of doing this free, rushy worry kind of eat. Take care first. Connect to how the food feels in your body. Just notice. To connect to how you're thinking about it. Like, is it really appealing? Are you looking at it saying, "Oh, or is it like, there? I guess I'll eat it because it's time and we're doing this." How are you feeling about it? Just take some time to notice. If you can, sit and eat with one of the gals in our support call, the coaching call for this kitchen medicine course, said, yeah, sitting down to eat during the day for my lunch and my breakfast is really hard. So when I'm in the office, even if it's just 10 minutes, I'm going to find someone to sit down and eat with and talk with while I'm eating, because nourishment happens on a lot of different levels. And, we connect around food so much. That's part of the gig with digesting your food well and getting nourishment out of your food, is nourish spirit at the same time. So make it a feast for your eyes. Make it look nice. And I'm not the queen of that, I will tell you. But as much as you can, make things look nice. Make the ambiance nice, pleasant, engage in pleasant conversation so that you are connecting on a lot of different levels. All of that helps your digestion. So even when things aren't moving so well right now in this season and that digestion is low, connection is the thing that will help to balance out the energy season and just help your stomach feel better, help your spirit feel better. Back around to that connecting with people. And all in all, you'll find it much better. I'll give Mark a minute yet because Sam just called on my phone and he answered it. So the other fun thing, speaking of connecting and balancing out the season, is I am not swimming right now because I had some issues and I just felt like the extreme cold was stressing my heart too much. So I had to quit for a bit and solid, and I felt like, well, I'll just let it be. So what I'm doing is taking a cold shower in the morning. And water is cold. Cold is cold, 40 degrees. But it's invigorating. Holy cow. If you want to combat, everything's still. It's frozen in place right now. Water is moving. Water's part of this season. It's part of the energy, but it's moving. And when you get that water and it causes a lot of vascular activity because it helps get your circulation going, believe it or not, helps you breathe deeply. I'm telling you. And I do the Wim Hof breathing while I'm in the shower because, number one, that gives me something to do. So I stay there. I'm not thinking about the cold as much because I'm thinking about my breathing. And it gets you breathing really deeply. And that deep breath, I've talked about oxygenation before and breathing through your nose, the nitric oxide, all helps boost your mood. When you breathe really deeply and you use your whole lung to breathe and you expel the CO2 very forcefully, you're getting your lungs cleaned out. It'll really help with the colds that are going around right now. Even if you have a cold, it's really good. Do some of it and breathe through your nose. Use your belly button to push. I call it like a belly punch breath because I can't remember the right word for it. And it's like you're punching yourself in the belly with your belly button. And you breathe out really forcefully because normally your body works on inhalation and exhalation is more of a flow. This makes inhalation the force and inhalation the flow that just happens. It's more passive. Forcefully expelling the CO2 out, pushing the air out, makes your body get clean. It helps clean your lungs out. And right now, it's harder. So another cue about how to combat this season, not combat it, how to work with it. Because we don't want to combat nature. You guys all know. See, Bryce is here. Nicole, some of these farmers. We're not working against nature. We're working with it. So all of these tricks, practices, healthy lifestyles, help you come in sync with the season. Just work with it. So that's your Wellness Wednesday for this Wednesday in February. We go. And it's kind of fun sitting here because there's all sorts of stuff in this restream that I can do. And I can mess with stuff. Q&A. If you have questions about homesteading, farming, living, ask away. I know that someone asked earlier this week. But do take questions, save them up. Are you ready?
You are.
Yep. So, and if you would perhaps, then we pick them out of the chat a whole lot easier. Rachel was supposed to change the bus, but then we had the grades today, and so she didn't get around to it. Bring flour there, but anyone can farm. Anyone can farm experience.com, and you'll see where you can sign up for the tribe gathering, July 9th. We have Craig Schaff is coming. He's going to be talking about seed saving. We have workshops for the kids this year, and he's going to do one on tanning for the kids. It's going to be super. More bones than the dog can eat. That's saying something for a Pyrenees. That's who I had to get the turkey feet for, was our son's dog, our son's Pyrenees, Millie. I'll let Mark shoot you some ideas. There. The website is working tonight. We had a glitch. Thank you, Jonathan, for calling that to our attention. And got it fixed, though. Lorna, the Wonder Woman, got it fixed. So that will work. If you want to grab that last seat for the charcuterie class, sign up for Hog Harvest already, because it's never too early to grab your seat. And if you want to sign up, get registered for the tribe gathering. We got a lot of cool stuff coming on. So Koshi Mama, that was my idea. Bone broth, biochar, compost, put them in the garden. Who pays for bone meal for your soil? So I'll let Mark give you his answer too, though, because I'm sure he's some good creative ones. And again, if you have questions, if you put them in caps, or at least partially in cap, because sometimes they get funny about that, then we'll catch them quicker. So, there you go. And I left that last question right there for you.
All right. Same shirt I had on yesterday. We need some new art up here.
Yeah, I was going to have Rachel, but then we had June today, so.
All right. Oops. I just pulled a cord out of here, Jill. It's probably not good. Hey, Jill. This cord accidentally came out, and now it won't go back in. I'm not sure how it's supposed to work. Is that where it came out of? Where's Mom?
Talking to Sam. I'll get her.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. I just barely touched it, and it came out. All right, so today's Wednesday. This cord came out of here.
Oh, that's okay. That's just the power cord.
That's how it sits. It's not very secure.
Yeah,
Does
no,
it
it's
get
fine.
pushed in?
It's,
No, it
it's
doesn't.
fine.
Oh, it's beeping.
Yeah, it does when it's like in and out and in and out.
Okay.
So, yep.
Is this a question for me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great day today. Pretty much good day, I think. What is that? On my fly on my head? Or a wound? Oh, yeah. Hit my head on something. I don't remember doing that. It was like 40 today, and it was rainy. Kind of a yucky day. But it was nice that it wasn't, blazing cold. Like tomorrow it's going to be single digits. And it's going to be icy because it's wet out there now. It's raining. All right. So here it is. Okay. Here. How do you make bone meal? We are generating more bones than a dog can eat. What do you do with them? Compost? That's from Crunchy Mama. No, bone meal is a good thing. There's a couple ways to do it. If you have a really good hammer mill, you can let the bones sit out in the sun, get nice and dry, or a hammer mill, and you can just mill them. You can also make biochar out of them. That's a pretty good idea. They have to be really dry, though, to make biochar. And then you can send them through a hammer mill as well, or, drive over them, just to break them into small pieces. I don't think compost. That doesn't sound right to me. They will. Yeah, they will. Yeah, you could compost them. That's right. Bone broth, especially beef bone broth. If you chunk them up in small pieces, I think there's a market for them out there. So I think a little out of the box if I were you. Let's see who we got with us tonight. John Pierce. Bryce is with us. Been a while, Bryce. Maybe you're just quiet when you come in. I don't know. The Ghost. Wish I could go without eating for that long, JP. Food's an addiction. How long did some accidentally fasted 20 hours today? Skipped breakfast, then was busy at lunch. Yeah, I guess I do a little of that myself. Nicole's with us. All right. So, I don't see any questions, but we do dedicate this to questions and having to do with homesteading, small farming, and just plain living. So if you do have them, you can put them in all caps, and then I'll know. Let's see. Today was just one of those days. I had a lot to do. I had to milk today, and I had to feed all the animals and water all the animals. So it was pretty busy for me right up until lunch. And then I am working on a project kind of on the side. I want to take some of the heat from this room where the wood stove is and be able to move it up to the front of the house. And I have a small fan that's in the way in the line. I got a flexible duct that runs up to the front of the house, under the house, and it just doesn't have the horsepower to push enough air up to the front. So I scrounged an oil furnace a few years ago that was brand new, 60s. So it had never been installed, brand new, right? And I suppose I could have used it, but they were pretty inefficient back then. And I started doing a little search on parts. No, discontinued. Mostly everything on it was discontinued. So I just decided to take it apart and use some of the parts that were on it for things that I might need. So it had a lower motor on it with a 6 horsepower AC motor on it that turns the squirrel cage blower. And, it's brand new. So I pulled that off and I put it on the bench, and ops checked it. I was trying to see if I could put a rheostat on it, and so I could slow the motor down, but it was a constant speed motor, and I couldn't have known that until I pulled an inspection plate off the side, and it had a data plate underneath. And so it was a constant speed motor, so you couldn't vary the speed on it. So I don't know. I might use it. It blows pretty. So I'm thinking that I might just put kind of a thermostat on the heat shroud that goes around the exhaust pipe, and maybe when it gets really hot, this will turn on. It will cool that off. I don't know. So let's see what else. I talked with Aaron Esch today about the plan for the the outpost, and I get some information to him, and then he's going to get me. We're not going to wait too long on that. We need that built. And so I'm thinking, Aaron said that he would like to do some anyone can farm activity. I'm not sure if he wants to do anyone can farm activity, but he would like to open his farm up to post and beam building techniques. So possibly our idea for work camping here, where you come here and you stay, and then you agree to work for about 6 hours with one of the crews, and you're immersed right in the whole Baker's Green Acres thing. He might want to get something like that going at his place. And I saw that the cleric said something about last night about their wanting to pass on some skill, gotten pretty good at, like canning and backyard chickens and maybe pastured poultry. So that's good. Got a lot of people stepping forward right now. Say, hey, I'll teach. I know you guys have seen this, and I know this is kind of old news, but all right, Avery's with us. Avery Leslie. Canadian trucker thing. All right. Just as an example, Prime Minister Trudeau, that guy's a weenie. I'm sorry, he's a weenie. He has enacted the War Powers Act, which, come right down to it, it's sort of a martial law thing. They can take certain rights that are in their version of our Bill of Rights. They can just take them away because they say, well, it's a national emergency and because we say so. And what they have said that they're going to do is anybody that participates in the, whatever it is, the rally or the demonstration, they're going to seize their bank accounts. So when I heard that, I thought, wow, you guys just really upped the ante. You really upped the ante. So it makes the truckers feel like, well, if I quit now, then I have no bargaining power. They could take my bank account, freeze my assets, and then I'm really in a tough place. Can't make your house payments, insurance on your truck. They're kind of putting you out of business. A lot of people withdrawing the cash because of this not looking good. It has kind of triggered a bank run, hasn't it? Yeah. Trudeau is he's a piece of work. You cannot tell me that they're not playing these moves out and saying, okay, if we do this, they'll do this. If they do this, we'll do this, and have several scenarios. I know they do. And this seems like a very bad thing for him to do. Doesn't seem like a smart thing for him to do if he truly wants to get this resolved. But the point that we should take away from this is all of the institutions that we have in our lives. Here I was born. We have relied on our hospitals, and look what they've done in the last couple of years. Their protocols have killed people, right? The distribution system has failed us. Agriculture has failed us. Schools have failed us. Now banking. You keep your money in somebody's bank, and they allow the government of that country to take your money, to steal from you. And they say, well, there's nothing we can do. I call that a failure. Just because the government steps in and says to this private bank, that's Tony's money, because we say so. And then, oh, yeah, here you go. Here's Tony's money. That's a failure right there. That's a big time failure, in my opinion. So what do we do? Like when the schools fail us, we pull our kids out and we school them ourselves. What do we do when big agriculture is putting people out of business and, polluting and, creating substandard food, what do? We put our own system in place and we disregard them. We do not support them with our dollars. That's all we can do. You can stamp the ground and say, I shouldn't be able to do that. It doesn't matter. This, because they've got the government behind them, pushing them to do it, actually. Yeah, Crunchy Mom is saying, time to buy some PM and Bitcoin, PM being precious metals. I think that time is coming, has already come, like years ago. It was time years ago. I was over at Ebel's today, by the way, and they had, in one of the gun cabinets, they had a jar full of nickels. And I got looking closer at it. Those are Indian head nickels. And then one of the employees came over and said, hey, I'll buy those, to the guy at the gun counter. This guy at the gun counter pulls them out, dumps them all out. Yeah, they were all between 1929 and 1932. Whole jar, like a little pickle jar full of Indian head nickels. And the price on them said they wanted $1 a piece for them. And I wondered about that. I should ask Kyle. He was just here. He knows all about that. I thought that was pretty neat, though, to see all those nickels there in one place. But the only thing that you can do, oh, look at this, saying Bank Run Canada was true, but they're trying to kibosh it. Bosh. The kibosh to it. Kibosh. Time to buy some PM and Bitcoin. We have some Bitcoin. My wife bought some on the recommendation of my. I don't know much about it. It seems a little weird to me, but whatever. I listened to a podcast today that I thought was really good, and I think I ought to pass on to you. The guy's name is Max Egan, and his channel is called The Crow's Nest. I think, Jack, you probably have heard of him. And normally I don't listen to him because he's one of these guys that tells you everything that's going to happen and that it's terrible. And people better wake up. He's always saying that. People got to wake up. People got to wake up. People got to wake up. And so I don't listen to him because I know these things. And I don't think people got to wake up is a solution, right? Silver content is 90% on those old nickels, according to Lone Star. Does that mean they're worth more than 5 cents? Does it mean they're worth more than $1? Because that's what they were going for. That would be the question. But anyway, Max Egan's presentation today I thought was really good because he is choosing to look at this this time that we're going through right now. Make no mistake, it's fun to watch this thing happen in Canada, but ours are the same as Trudeau. They're exactly the same. And, if they weren't getting the pushback from the American people, they would have us locked down forever. They love that stuff. That was really good for them. So we're watching this closely. Trudeau flinches. You're going to see the same type of thing happen with fervence in this country. I think it's going to happen anyway. And I believe that the Canadian truckers have upped the ante a little bit too. They said, oh yeah, you're going to take our bank accounts? We're calling on February 21st to stand down. Do not go to work. Shut this whole son of a gun down. Shut it down. That way, Trudeau, you don't have anything to govern. You have nothing. We control it. And I think that they've been very reasonable. I think Trudeau has been very unreasonable, and he stands there with a 70s haircut and his little face mask on. And he's just like what a jerk. But anyway, Max Egan seems to think that this is a good thing that's happening because now, this is what I was saying last night, now you can forget all this stuff and learn to cook. Start going to the library and checking books out, to garden, self-sufficient. This can be a great time to do that. Vindicti, I feel like I made the right choice to leave Canada for the U.S. last year. Still rooting for the truckers, though. Oh, for sure. I think that the Canadian truckers are just the Canadian version of this offensive that is being waged, and they picked, okay, let's go after Trudeau. If they had used American truckers to do this, American truckers are hotheads, and they could have been drawn out by, we have agent provocateurs in this country that operate under the three-letter C's, and they would go and they would do something, a false, what, and blame it on the truckers. But in Canada, they're pretty organized and they're pretty ruly people. They're pretty governable people, where the Americans are very ungovernable. If you tell an American to go left, he will go right. A good majority of them will. Although, in recent years, Americans have become increasingly governable, and that is the goal of the governments that we've had, is to subdue the people, and they do it all kinds of ways. I cannot believe some of the people that are around me that make monthly payments that the government pays them. I don't know why. They're disabled or what. I have no idea what's wrong with them. But they're getting more money by times 2 than I got for 20 years of military service. And they don't actually do anything, disabled for some reason. I don't know how that works. But I don't see how that's going to make the weakest link stronger. It doesn't. It makes the weakest link weaker and more governable. You rely on them. It's sort of like what they did to the Indians. Okay, we're going to give you this land. We still own it. We're going to let you live here. We're going to give you these dwellings, but we own them. And you can live in them, but be nice, and we'll even give you money every month. We'll give you money, dole money, they call it. You can do whatever you want with it. And what do they do then? They put in a couple of Class 6 liquor stores there, knowing that, knowing full well what's going to happen. So those people can be governed, because they had a heck of a time governing the Indians in the West. That's what I hear. Okay, the ghost is saying Trudeau will get JFK'd if that happens. I wonder what happens. See, I think the deep state will throw him under the bus just to create chaos and be able to blame it on the truckers. And they'll have some elaborate scheme. Oh, look what we found in this semi. Huh. We found like what they did to the guy that supposedly, can't think of his name right now. I should know it. Vindicti's saying, yeah, I do have to admire the truckers' restraint, even in the face of provocateurs. Yeah. The ghost is saying, we're ungovernable in a passive-aggressive way. I thought that was so choice the other day, where they said, oh, anybody that's carrying gas cans around, we're going to pick you up. So it's like every single Canadian went directly to a store, gas can. So this is a good question that Lone's got. Do Canadians have guns unlike the Aussies? Maybe the ghost or Vindicti can straighten us there. It was like 10 years ago when all firearms had to be registered. Is that correct? And I think they figure only about 1/4 of Canadians did that. And the government never made a move. But Canadians do have guns. But I don't think your average Canadian trucker is carrying a pistol in his truck like the average American trucker does. Do American truckers keep guns in their trucks? I don't know. Was lots of guns up here, but they all got lost in a boating accident. Yeah. He's saying we do have a good amount of guns. That's actually how Trudeau is justifying the Emergency Act. He's saying they found trucks with loaded guns. Ooh, loaded guns. They need this strike to continue on so people are focused on, so they don't realize how much their inflation rate has increased. Inflation rate. I bought 22 bullets today from Ebles. It was a 100 for $13. I know that a lot, doesn't it? But I didn't have any at the house, and you always need 22 bullets. So yeah, there's like $15 for 100 of them, and they were good ones. They were like Remington or something. So I got 2 of them. Not all registered, but you need a gun license. There's a long gun registry in some provinces. We've got guns. Avery's saying we've got. Okay, Avery, you must be Canadian too. Or maybe you're saying American, we have guns. Yeah, I don't think anybody's guns have been removed here or anybody's ever really turned in guns. They have these buyback things, which is a joke. But I don't know. I think we look back, and maybe this is just a personal thing. I'm trying to look at this from the point of view of a soft-hearted person, because I believe that what we're watching right now is just kind of like death throes of the deep state. I think we're moving into a time when it's not going to be systemically corrupt anymore. It's going to be systemically reputable. That couldn't be. What? That couldn't be. I mean, my family is systemically reputable because we decide we want it that way and we run it that way. Why is my township systemically reputable? Why is that? And I hope nobody from my township listens to this because they're actually a good group of people and they don't do anything wrong that I know of. But at the county level, that's not the case. They are systemically corrupt. If they're not watched very closely, they direction of corruption. Sort of like they take more than is their share. And I mean, that's well documented in this county. And at the state level, holy smokes, you cannot believe how corrupt they are. Like there's a township up by Lake City, and the township has decided, well, we don't want people putting up tents on their own property. So if you put up a tent on your own property and your kids want to camp out or something, you got to get a permit for that. You got to get a special use permit. They've decided that is a corruption of the Fifth Amendment. Your life, liberty, and property is protected under due process of law. If your process is your property, right? Those words are used interchangeably in that. If your process is in the summertime for 2 weeks, you set your tent up and your extent comes from out of town and they camp out in your front yard or your side yard or whatever. It could be your front yard. That's your process. Where does a friggin' township step in and say, it's private they have no authority on private property, for one. But the person who brought this to my attention, well, you're going to have to stand up. I can't do it. It's not my township. You have to do it. She didn't want to. She just wanted to on Facebook about this just ain't right. Well, that doesn't change anything. You have to stand up and you have to go after them, and you have to make the pain go towards them, right? Make it go towards them. Hold them accountable to their oath to the Constitution, actually, is what you have to do. But she didn't want to do that. She just wanted to complain on Facebook, and they got what they wanted. Now they're collecting money off of people, special use permits for a weekend. If you want to camp on your own property, $50. They don't mind that. They like to do that. They have a little extra money. They can split it up amongst the township people. Oh yeah, why not? That is corruption of our constitutional right. But I don't think it has to be that way. I think we're moving in a direction where, by law, corruption is not tolerated and people are held accountable to it. The corruption at the county level happens because we have no way of getting at them. As the citizens, there's no mechanism to get at them. You can go to the prosecutor and say, hey, but they're all buds. So the prosecutor is going to be like, I got more important things to do, But that can change. That can change. I believe that the President of the United States could wage peace. It's like we saw what Trump did, the whole thing with, you're hearing the drumbeat again about, the North Koreans. Oh, them North Koreans. Yeah. They got artillery. Ooh. And they're actually floating again that they've got a missile that they can hit the United States with. Ooh. I'd like to see that one. That technology is guarded very, very closely, Nuclear weapons, not so much, but intercontinental ballistic missilery, very, very tight on that. And I'll just give you an example because I worked for a missile wing for a while. The United States, we launch a missile every year, an ICBM, every year out of Vandenberg in California. And we go like, hey, Russia, everybody, on this day, we're going to launch an ICBM and we're going to drop it down on this island here. Yeah, no nukes on it, but watch if you want. Everybody watches, and then call across there to Putin. He's, hey, when you going to launch one? We know we're not going to launch them. We're saving them, right? Oh, do they work? Oh, yeah, they work. They work. Sure they do. Yeah, right. Just like everything else in Russia, I bet it works really good. Like your submarines. They work really good too, huh? And your airplanes. You want to see a Russian airplane crash? Go to the Paris Air Show. Yeah. Okay, you're right. Long gun registry was an old federal policy that Harper got rid of. Oh, okay. All right. Goes. Quebec tried to disregard the feds when the registry was scrapped, but the courts forced them to comply and destroy the records. Okay, so that did go away. All right, very good. You're right. The long gun registry was an old federal policy that Harper got rid of. See, this is so cool. We're learning so much about our neighbors to the north. I actually I listened to several podcasts today about the truckers. So you get that the Canadian drawl coming at you all the time. And then a woman called here today and was inquiring about pigs. And I said, what part of Canada are you from? No, she said, I'm from Canada. And I said, I know, I can tell by your accent. I've been with Canadians all day long. All right. Well, what do we got for questions tonight, y'all? Let's see. Was there anything to talk about today? Just that Max Egan thing. We've got to look at this time as a great opportunity to back up a little bit and get into real life living. I did talk on the phone with Aaron Esch today. Remember, he was on the show a while. Aaron Esch runs Barn Geek. He's a barn designer, and if you go to barngeek.com, last I checked, you can buy a set of plans from him for just under $200, and it comes with a cut list, and then bring that to your favorite mill and have them go to it. And he said to me today, you can add a lot of value to your property by building structures that are useful. I mean, it's a profound statement. Of course you can. And it's not that hard, and you can develop the skills that you need by doing it. Imagine that, But he's going to set some classes up in beam building, and I want to be one of the first students, me and my sons. Okay. Ghost is saying the RCMP were supposed to scrap all records too, but they got caught with long gun registry info last year. RCMP, if you guys don't know, it's Royal Canadian Mounted Police, like Dudley Do Right. Vindicti says, I bet they will hold onto the trucker convoy donator list for years to come too. Of course. Oh, Keith S. I put a picture up on my Facebook feed, and it was a picture of a arm. And I just said that there was a guest here, and our poodle got a hold of him. And he's wanting to know, was that tax revenue that your dog had his hand in his mouth? No. Actually, it was just a rubber, gag thing from Halloween or something that has been around here for a long time. I hate it. It looks like a real hand, and it's just always around, and you come across it, and it's like, what is that thing here for? Like, it's like one of those toy snakes. When you see it, you just get a little bit of a jolt from it. Jonathan saying, sounds kind of like our ATF getting caught with millions of gun sale records. Yeah. I don't know, you guys. I just get the feeling it's the beginning of a new era where this corruption is going to be eradicated. I'm kind of Pollyanna. I mean, we've got things on very close to home here where people are right out in the open with their corruption because you can't do anything about it. Nobody can do anything about it. But I know if I was them and I was displaying that, I'd be a little worried about that now. I would. And I mean, just like, we know what kind of dollars that they have made, and yet they're living in homes that are worth millions, and like, where did that come from? So I think all these things are going to be revealed, and we'll see. Vindicti says, there's a struggle going on for sure, Mark. We are at the razor's edge, and I can see it falling either way. I can't see it falling either way, man. We've kind of role played this out. The truckers can now, and there's such a support group there that it would be very hard for them to make no mistake. They're rotating guys out of there. They are rotating guys out. The guys that are there, they don't want to leave. They feel very, very strongly about it because they are sort of like, like in a lot of things to in the Vietnam War. The Viet Cong no to safety except victory. If they lost, they died. If they lost war, they died. So they were fighting for their lives and their homes. If the truckers back down, if they flinch, oh, they're going to come after them later. Trudeau will get payback on them later. He will. If Trudeau backs down, he's between a rock and a hard place. The rock is the truckers. The hard place is the New World Order that he serves. He does not serve the people of Canada in any way, shape, or form. No way. So, both sides, like the truckers won't kill him, but the deep state will. And I think to be like the most likely scenario to happen here is they pulls an operation and throws their own guy under the bus, but they don't care. He's just a puppet. They throw him under the bus, blame the truckers, chaos, and it's they always play that. What they want, they create chaos, and what they want out of it. Only thing is, this people know about this now, and I think the alliance actors kind of know their next move. For us, it's like a little like, oh, this is all organic happening, but I don't believe it is. Just like I don't think the pandemic was organic. I don't think it was very much planned out. I think this is very much planned out. It's counter move, but it's kind of like they're to call the truckers misogynists and racists and they're homophobes. That they got to be homophobes. If you're a racist and misogynist, you better be a homophobe. And I don't know, probably Nazis too. Let's just throw that in there. But it's not sticking because they're not typically known to be any of those things. So, but let's say that Trudeau flinches. Well, it could cost him everything, but you notice that the governor of my state said he needs to do everything in his power to get the traffic jam straightened out. So she's on board with him, right? So I know it just looks to me like Trudeau is not to keep enough people snowed for much longer. And it looks, I want to talk to some of my Romanian friends if they are watching this, but it looks an awful like he's going the Ceausescu route. An awful lot like that's what he's doing. Okay. The ghost, 400 to 1. I can only one way. The people. Yeah, I watched the video yesterday, and it was over the weekend. There were truckers, associates that were going and handing, personally handing a rose to each policeman, and the policemen were accepting it, which I thought was, but what does that signify? I'm handing you a rose. I could be handing you a snake too, but I have access to you. I can walk up to you and hand this to you. Make the right decision. I heard today a good intelligence source, I found him to be excellent, is Mystic with Jean-Claude. He is a friend of Janine's, and she does tarot by Janine. And I know tarot is kind of fringy, I guess. I don't know, but she's just she just seems like a gal that's got horse sense to me. She's a little fringy too, with her styles and stuff and pierced nose and stuff. It's a little fringy. When I listen to her content and I judge her character, there's something in my gut that says, I like her, I like her. If I would ask her opinion on something, I wouldn't. I don't know anything about tarot cards or readings and stuff. I've always heard it's not good, but if it's so bad, I don't know. You see the Christian leaders that are like the Joel Osteens and Benny Hinn's and all those guys. Now, I just take one look at that, and that just doesn't even seem close to trying to emulate the man from Nazareth that didn't even have a change of clothes. They just look bad. It's just an abomination, it seems like to me. Look at Janine, and she's doing tarot cards, but her character, I have to judge it with my gut, and my gut tells me she's a good, genuine person. I don't think she's trying to deceive me, but I think Joel Osteen probably is trying to deceive me, and he's a Christian. Go figure. So Janine, tarot with Janine, and then Mystic with Don Claude. He goes right down there into the city and talks with folks. And you learn a lot through that, He just interviews people. People walk up to him, how'd you like to be on YouTube? And then they say why they're there and all that stuff. I heard from him today that 30% of the police in Ottawa have taken leaves of absence or days off or quit. About 30%. And the ones that are coming in show up and they sit in their cars. So old Trudy doesn't really have the police force that he thinks he needs, even though he just did the war powers thing. Where are you going to get people? You're going to get like UN troops? Oh, they're going to be real dedicated. Vindicti says they may be sitting on technological advancement. We aren't too far away from them rolling out automation and steamrolling the working class advance. So something that Egan said that struck home with me, that I saw this happen in my own struggle, was these parasite types, like you will see the entire, the prime minister and they're all parasite, produce nothing. They have no idea what it takes to escape and evade, work under, work around. They have no idea because their lives are just a certain way. And so they don't understand that about us. And we are legion compared to them. We are legion, and we're capable. They're not very capable. Trudeau, you can just look at him. He's not a strong individual. Vindicti says, maybe Trudeau is a good guy in helping to destroy the identity politics playbook of using all the isms attacks. Okay, so it could, it could be. I mean, it's been the years of enlightenment. We see just how bad our governments are, who they've drawn in, and how corrupt they are. We've seen that. I saw it years ago. I saw it. I thought this must be an isolated. They're all like that. And I've heard that once you get in there, if you're not like that, so many friends in Ottawa respect the Romanians for sure. Yeah, we have quite a few different Romanians come to the farm. Tigs, they're good people. Whitmer, that's in 2022. That's this year. She's out of here. Ghost is saying a bank run will end him for sure. Not joking about the JFK thing. Banks are all powerful in his world. Okay. Vindicti says bank runs aren't really possible anymore. Fractional reserve banking is a thing of the past. I didn't know that, man. I did not know that. Vindicti says tarot may be fringe, but the last month has taught me to listen to the fringe minority. Is it any fringer than me? You know, is it really? I mean, I believe in things, and I have opinions shaped on my experiences, and Janine does too. And hers, with these set of cards, puts a question there, draws cards, and says this one means this, this one means this. I mean, she believes it, and the level of accuracy is pretty darn good. But I'm sure there's people out there that could explain it and explain that it's, for the birds. But I don't know. Oh, boy, this thing is really. Let's see. Scott Melker has a very interesting series on tarot. I probably should check that out. Okay, and Ghost says he was real proud of the farmer standing. Did anybody hear that Council of Truckers? I heard them, must have been yesterday, they're saying on the 21st, prepare to stand down. Everybody in Canada to stand down. Do not go to work, and just stop the whole thing. Did anybody else hear that? Okay. That seems to make sense. I mean, up the ante. You cannot let these people get away and just to pop up again another day to do this again. They really need to be replaced. They really need to be replaced. Vindicti's saying, I don't understand tarot deeply, but it has gotten my attention. Used to think it was fringe and crazy, but the idea that it represents fundamental archetypes seems plausible, so keep researching. Hi, Janine. Right there, I like Janine. She puts in her 2 cents, and she spends a lot of time researching stuff, and I just like her. That's it. Okay, you heard a pullover strike. Okay. Canadian Deputy Prime Minister is board member of the World Forum. Imagine that. She used to work for the New York Times and the Washington Compost too. Those two rags, can you believe those? I mean, and they're so lit. Their stuff shows up on my phone, and I don't even read it. It just seems more like an Examiner magazine or those rags that you see at the checkout. She works wrong. They have an agenda. They definitely have an agenda. It's like the Nazis had an agenda. Their agenda seems to be very similar to me. I won't be skipping work, but I'll be closing my TD bank accounts. It's not a bad idea. See, if we go to a cashless society, we could have problems because somebody's got control of it. If we don't have control of it, then they have control of it. And unfortunately, it's become us and them, and they've failed us over the last 2 years. They've just totally failed us. Well, we're doing pretty good. It's 9:15. Um, a nice day today. Had my kids out, my grandkids playing with them, and had a nice time. Jill is busily working on the whole merchandise thing, so they're gonna have the coffee cups. They're gonna have sweatshirts, T-shirts. Works is I'll have some here that I can show you, and if you want them, you can get them and send them right to you. It's pretty neat deal. Oh, my son Keith went out on his very first fire call day. Yep. So I have 2 firemen in my family. Klaus Schwab seems like a Hess acting as a stereotypical supervillain Nazi. Also makes me wonder if the WEF is meant, World Economic Forum, is meant to create a pushback to the "you will nothing will like it" agenda. I wonder about that. What a stupid thing to say. But here we go. I mean, if we pay attention to this and we think it's going to affect our life, and the one thing that I can take from Owen Benjamin is don't comply, but rely. If you don't rely, you don't need to comply. You don't rely on them, they can say whatever they want. Doesn't matter. And we have a fail-safe in our U.S. Constitution to back on. Fail-safe. All right, let's call it a night. Still psyched about spring. It is right around. Let's see. Ghost is saying crypto is reality for you to create your own bank, essentially. They can get rid of cash if they want, but they will just be many different currencies to use. One of the things that Max Egan said today, attention, he appears to be about 75 or 80. I think he's right in there, 78 years old or so. And he said, now is the time to spend your life savings. Now is the time. And he said, people are always talking about, well, invest, and we even saw it on here. Sean said, invest in precious metals and those. Well, okay, but he says invest in things, right? And a new stereo is not like a wise investment. It isn't. It might bring you some pleasure. Maybe they don't even have stereos anymore. Am I dating myself? I don't know. Maybe everything's just headphones. I don't know. But myself, that I need to do, I've got a bunch of tools like hand tools, hammers, shovels, picks, stuff like that, where the handles are broken off. And I need to take them systematically over to Ebles, fit it with a new handle, and then bring it home and put it on security. And then, boom, I've got a shovel. It's pretty useful. You had to dig a hole, and you maybe have a cave that you're digging at the ground. It's hard to dig. You kill for a shovel. It becomes a very, no, this is mine. You protect that shovel. I want that shovel. Oh, I got a question here that somebody gave me. Let's try this. This is from Tim. I have a quick brooder question. Oh, I'm not going to do this. This is really deep. And he sent this to me. I don't think he listens here. Unless I'm wrong. I'll give you about 30 seconds, Tim. If you're here, I'll if not, I'll just hold it over till tomorrow night. This is a deep subject here. Okay. Meat grinder, right? Very useful. It'd be a good time to invest in that. Let's see, think that is, Jonathan. You buy a meat grinder. Let's say you spend $400 on it. Your money $400. It's safe in that piece of equipment. if your $400 is at the credit union, we're watching that money just shrinking. You know, we'll buy today what $200 would have bought yesterday, and so it's just shrinking. But it into stuff, then it's secure. It's secure in that stuff. And I was down in South America one time, and we were in and out of by a physician, a female physician, and she had a big pile of teak logs in her backyard. I thought, this is kind of strange. But teak, it's interesting wood. And I had asked the guy that was with us that spoke the language, and he says, "Oh, well, if she gets money, she takes the money and purchases things with it that do not lose their value and are so heavy people can't steal it." Right? So teak logs, kind of hard to. Citizens in Canada, at least, have always been able to issue their own currency. The problem has always been counterfeiting. Crypto solved that problem. Jonathan says he's still on the lookout for a decent tractor. Now, that's a good place to save your money right there. And you can do stuff with it. Just got to resist the central bank DC while we support restless decentralization cryptos. Trustless. Restless. Oh, support trustless decentralized cryptos. We got to resist the CBDCs while we support trustless decentralized cryptos. I probably sit down with somebody that understands that. Well, last time we talked about your steers, Jonathan, it sounded to me like you were going to be butchering your own steers, unless you want to feed them until October of 2023. They're going to be some pretty big steers by then. You're going to have, but you can do it. You just have to walk through it one time. It'd be good if you go work with somebody a little bit at one time, and then you can see what you need to do it and how it's going to work out. But I've said it before, I'll say it again. That is probably one of the best skills that if you can do a decent job at it, if you get to the point where you say, okay, I know I can do this, and I can turn this from a live animal to table fare. It may not look perfect, but you can do it. And then from there, it's only going to get better. You'll get better at it, better at it, better at it. You'll see the cuts. They'll make sense to you. But if you're the guy in the neighborhood that knows how to do that, you can write your own ticket. You guys will always eat. And then pass that on to Harley so he can learn how to be the butcher. I mean, you should wear multiple hats these days. If we're in the survival mode and we want to make it to the new America side, then we've got to be useful people. We can't just be, well, I'm a data programmer, or I'm a, I don't know, systems analyst. It might work out good in the old America because you could get paid a lot of money, and then you could pay other people to cut your meat, other people to cook for you, other people to drive you around. But that's not really, for one thing, for me, if I have to hire people like tradesmen, they're expensive, and they're in no hurry to get stuff done. They're here to get, least amount of work for the most amount of money, and there's not a lot of pride in the work anymore. So we have to do our own. All right. Jonathan says the Jerseys can wait, the Angus can't. Yeah. I got a whole bunch of meat on the tables down at the shop that we have to get broke down tomorrow. Got to get it cleared off the table because our class is coming up in March, and I have to get the shop cleaned. I got a little bit of construction to do down there. So, all right, good for tonight and the stream. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Remember, he says, I am a useless data programmer who is trying to learn to be a useful farmer. Tell you what, Dicty, come to work camp this year, get on the schedule, come from Sunday to Sunday, it'll be for you, and then you'll be immersed in Baker's Green Acres. We'll put you on work crew, and you'll be doing, and when you leave, you will have the power because you will know how to do these things. You will know how to build fences and butcher chickens and plant trees and all the things that we do. We get up. All right, a lot of construction coming up. You know what I will do? I was talking to Aaron about it today. I want to be able to build alternative housing, straw bale house, cordwood house. That's nothing new. Stone, so we could have all cabins around the property that people come. We did and Jonathan stayed we've got a log cabin that we built, me and my son Joe built. Work camp, we finalized it. You think it will be before Tribe weekend, because Tribe is in July. Right? We should be rocking by then. Yeah, there's no reason why we can't start like Labor Day. The work starts and a lot of the woodworking that we have to do, like people that done that post needing construction, like I haven't done. And then they said they could, conceivably when they start their homestead up. There's no barn here, but I know how to build a barn. Right? We should know how to do that. Chips. Okay, I'll look into it. All right, I'm going to get going. Thanks a lot, you guys, for coming by. Please like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.